Another day, another video. Welcome to today's video. We're switching it up a little bit from the vlogs. We'll be back next week, so don't worry. As you could tell by the title, we are reflecting on this past year as I enter a new one. Best believe we're gonna do some makeup while we do it. Today is Wednesday, November 22nd, and it is the day before my 26th birthday. It feels so crazy to say. Every year I get older, but I don't feel it. I think I will always just feel like a young soul at heart. That saying where it's like, young enough to know, or it's like old enough to know better, young enough to do it anyway. That will just always be me. Still carry so much of what I learned, 25 things that I've learned at 25. Hi, if you guys are new, my name is Nikki. I hope that you stay a while. Last year was a quarter of a century, and this year we get kicked off our parents' insurance. Here's to getting older. Let's get into some of these lessons I've learned. First one is, if you are thinking about somebody or they're on your mind, just tell them. I do not mean an ex. I didn't mean that route. Old me would have jumped on that if I said that a few years ago. I was like, oh, she said my ex. I think honestly that in and of itself just shows the growth with time. My best friend and I do this a lot, and it honestly just makes such a difference in my life. I feel I'm smiling just talking about it. She lives in Connecticut, I'm in New Jersey, and we're both busy with life. That postgraduate transition is not for the weak. Her and I don't talk every day, but every once in a while we'll send each other videos, usually while we're doing our skincare, and we're just like, hey, like, how are you? Like, oh, I'm envisioning putting on the headband, talking to her, filming a video of like, hey, how are you? What's going on? What's new? I miss you. Let's talk. Let's plan something. If you miss someone, tell them. If you're thinking about them, call them, make a plan. So small, but it goes such a long way. This one is, what your body does is way more important than how it looks. The beginning of last year, I was really struggling in terms of what workouts I wanted to do. I felt like my body was just changing so much out of nowhere. Frustrating because I felt like I was doing quote unquote everything right. I was exercising, I was working out, but I still felt like my body was changing and I just didn't feel good in my own skin. I used to think that I needed to do a ton of cardio. I was doing Orange Theory, I was doing high intensity workouts, and now I do my bar classes. I feel so good. I feel so strong with every class. Let me make sure my brows are good, because sometimes she could be a little crazy. When I was just starting these different workouts, I was so impressed with what my body could do and how strong I felt, energized I felt. I'm using all these words in terms of feeling because I am not even focused on how my body looks. That's just a byproduct, I guess. I feel like looks in general can be so deceiving. Somebody that might not look quote unquote strong and they're benching or lifting a lot of weight. Last year has just taught me a lot about finding what works for my body, and more importantly, just how I feel. My goals for each workout have looked different, especially when I did Orange Theory. How they do it is you wear a little tracker thing and it tells you like how many calories you're burning and like certain splat points. You want to get 12. So if I did not get 12, I felt terrible. I was like, I want to burn at least 600 calories, and it was more about external things than internal. Now when I do bar, when I do Pilates, when I go for walks, the goal is just to move my body to feel good. My image, my self-esteem is a lot better for it. 3 is, people are always gonna say something whether you take the risk or not, so might as well. Part of the reason I held off on social media for so long was I was just nervous about what other people were gonna say. What if people from my hometown see my videos? Not that I didn't care, but I was like, okay, so I'm not gonna do something that I enjoy that makes me happy because of what somebody else is gonna say. Okay. I also realized I did not do my makeup technique that I've been liking. I have really been enjoying underpainting, and I was gonna do it and I just did foundation, but that's okay. We'll do our tried and true makeup. Oh my gosh, this one, number 4, self-love is not a replacement for a romantic connection. Especially during COVID, I entered this self-love, self-help, looking at myself as a project kind of era. Very much so into the, I don't need a man. Don't, but I would like one. Like, all you need is yourself. You are the love of your life. I have been blending this foundation out for a very long time. There's something about a romantic love that you just cannot get through, no matter how much you love yourself. Your self-love is definitely at the forefront. I think you have to love yourself in order to be able to have the best connection. I think there's a lot about yourself that you unlock when you're in a romantic relationship. At the end of the day, if we were not meant to be in relationships or we could survive without them, they just wouldn't exist. As somebody that is trying to date in this culture of dating that just feels so exhausting, you know what, I'm just not even gonna put myself into that equation. I'm just not even gonna date, period. I know myself. I know that hopeless romantic. I would say confidently I am at like my peak amount of self-love. Very confident, so I wouldn't need to rely on them for validation. I think I'm at a good point in my life. I finished school. I'm just ready to evolve and share my life with someone. Even though I feel the best I've ever felt, I still feel like that relationship aspect is missing. Oh yes, thank you to my past self for writing notes, because there's so much I just want to talk about. The importance of corrective experiences. I just talked about dating and how it could feel exhausting. I think I feel that way because I've had a bunch of experiences where it's left me feeling like there's no hope in dating. Whether it's exes, situationships, just me getting ghosted, creates this like dogmatic thought in my head of like, okay, well, all guys aren't shit. Created those thoughts where it's like, okay, well, no guy is gonna do this, like all guys are the same, all this other stuff. Healing from that is great, but you cannot heal in isolation. And I think it's so important to have experiences that challenge that level of thinking. Like if I think, okay, all guys are the same, and then if a guy I'm talking to reaches out, he makes a plan, I'm like, oh no, he's actually putting an effort. That experience is so important. Next one is spend time with your parents while you can. While we're enjoying life, they're also getting older. COVID really opened my eyes to this, but especially now that I'm spending a lot more time with my dad. We were going on walks a lot over the summer and just getting that quality one-on-one time that we necessarily didn't have before while I was in school, As you get older, you realize that your parents are just people too, and that they're experiencing life for the first time just like you are. Learning to give them that grace. As I get older, I'm looking to get a job full-time, move out, and who knows when I'm gonna get this time again. So just making the most of what I have right now. Next one is having a routine to look forward to is one of life's greatest pleasures. And I think you guys know from the vlogs, I love my routine, I love my workout, I love just getting my life together. And I think being able to enjoy that slow morning, like that is something that I fought for in my schedule. Have a day in the week where I can enjoy. Okay, I feel like I love this makeup. I don't know what we're on today, but I'm here for it. Leads into my next one, which is when I think about myself, my future, I want to be well off, not for the sake of buying things, but just for the sake of enjoying my life in my own time. Knowing what you're working for and knowing what you want your life to be, it can really set you up for success, especially on the days where you don't feel like doing it, which is honestly what consistency is. It's showing up on the days that you would rather do literally anything else. I feel that way with workouts too. I think the best time to work out is when you don't feel like doing it. Unless you're sick, I have never regretted a workout that I've gone to. Workout that I enjoy. I don't know where that thought took me. This next one I learned in therapy. The reason why certain aspects of somebody's behavior is triggering to you is because there's a piece of that within you that you haven't made peace with. My therapist read me to filth when she said that. We were talking about an ex of mine. I know that I have an anxious attachment, so I think we were talking about a scenario where he either wasn't responding. The reason why his behavior was triggering was because when I am anxious, I react similarly, and that's a part of myself that I'm still working on, I haven't made peace with. Crazy. I love a good rosy cheek, so we are gonna add another dot of blush. The next one is wear the nice things that you got. Stop waiting for the right time, the right moment, the right occasion. You are the occasion. You showing up, you going anywhere, like you're the moment. So wear the nice things that you got yourself. You deserve it. Your self-worth is not a group decision. It's such a privilege to know yourself wholeheartedly, because when people assume things or say things, you know it's already wrong because you know who you are in and out. Let this be your reminder. If you're thinking about starting a passion and you're worried about what other people might think, do it. I don't recall sending anybody a rubric. Therefore, your grade of yourself is the only one that matters. Next one is do your best every day, but know that your best is gonna look different every day. I love this one. I think it ties in perfectly with the quote that's like, slow progress is still progress. Being in a society where productivity is so heavily ingrained in everything you do. Just this quote honestly just helped me to take a step back, to know myself, know when I'm feeling a little bit burnt out. Your best is, ooh, honestly, that could have been so bad. Good thing it wasn't any other product. What was I saying? Maybe I was done with that thought. This next one I learned recently, but if you're ever wondering whether or not to be somebody, think about if somebody came up to you and said, "You remind me so much of your partner," would that be a compliment to you? This had me thinking about all of the people I've ever let into my life. Would I take that as a compliment? No. And I think that tells you everything you need to know. It also forces you to look inward, to be like, okay, what type of person do I want to be? Who do I want to let into my life? I love this next one, but there is beauty in not being for everyone. People pleaser in me was like, huh? Honestly, the people that are meant to be, like that sound on TikTok that's like, the girls that get it, get it. The same is true for you. The people that truly see you, that truly understand you, those are the people that you want in your life. All of it, I've learned a lot of good things this year. Don't always take someone's re-entry into your life as a recognition of your worth. Anytime somebody, mainly an ex, that did me wrong comes back, my first thought was like, oh, like they know they messed up. No. I hate to break it to you, Angel. What you tolerate shows people how they can treat you. So if you are just letting somebody back into your life with no consequences, it's just not the ego boost that you think it is. Recognizing that you are such a luxury, not everybody needs to have access to you, and the people that do, make sure that they earn it. You are always on time for your own life. Getting my license, but I don't know if I've ever shared the roller coaster. Graduated in May, took my national board exam, and after that, after I passed, I was meant to apply for my licensure. I misread the directions, and I thought that, okay, if you automatically took the national board exam, they just send your scores over with your licensure. So I thought that I didn't have to do anything. Probably mid to end summer, a lot of people in my program were getting their licenses. They were posting about where they were going to be working, and I hadn't gotten anything. I texted one of my friends in the program, and she's like, yeah, I already got mine. Long story short, I ended up on a completely wrong website. I was freaking out. I was panicking. I was like, I'm so behind. Was I? No. I got my license. I did my fingerprinting, and I have it, and I'm applying for jobs. I try not to, but it's inevitable. Sometimes I fall into the social media trap. I see people, I see their postings, and naturally I just feel like I'm behind. What helps is reminding myself that I know their social media, I don't know them, because I'm sure there's a lot of other things that they're going through that they might not be posting about. With respect to my life, if it was gonna happen any other way, it would have. Right now I'm going through the job process, and at first I was really stressed, and I talked to my mom, and she's like, everything will all work out. You're going on interviews, you're getting experience, you're putting yourself out there, people are seeing your resume, so you will find a job for you. I think we could all use that reminder every now and then. A lesson that I learn every year, but she shows up every year. Maybe I still have to learn it. If you do not pick a day for your body to rest, your body will pick one for you. Myself, and I know I am very high achieving, that gets me into trouble because I push myself way past my limit, especially being in the helping profession, wanting to go into counseling. If you do not take care of yourself, you can't effectively help other people. I notice it so much when I get sick. I think I was telling you guys I had a little sniffles. Luckily, that was just it. The day that I had sniffles, just thinking about my week prior, I was doing so much stuff. I was not sleeping that well. Yeah, no. That makes sense. What else do I do in my makeup? Oh, let's do eyeshadow. This one I think I shared in the last vlog. It's very domestic of me, if you will. Those fuzzy hoodies that we all know and love, if you wash them inside out and then air dry them, it preserves the fuzziness. Nothing compares to the feeling of when you get that hoodie, you put it on, and it is the comfiest thing in the world, and you have to wash it. Instant devastation. Life is happening for you. Reminds me of one of my other favorite quotes is that you never know what your bad luck has saved you from. Seemingly terrible things happen, or like we were running late for something, or we missed an opportunity. It's like, oh, why is this happening to me? Kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier, like if it were gonna happen any other way, it would have. Sometimes you're removed from situations because conversations went on behind you that it just wasn't a good environment. I think that's just a nice perspective to look at bad things or change through. Next is planning things to look forward to. It could be as small as meeting up for coffee. Maybe you wanted to try a new workout class, or it could even be a bigger trip. For me, when I was going through my final year of school, I had classes, I had internship, I was also nannying, still am, but at the time just had a lot of things going on. Inadvertently went into hermit mode where my life was literally all of those things just repeated, like classes, internship, babysitting, school cycle, do it all again. You get into that habit to do that constantly for the next few months, and then you realize you haven't kept in touch with anybody. You finish and you're like, oh, planning thing. It could be a coffee date, it could just be a self-care time for you. I just think it's so important. Don't miss out on your life trying to get it together, especially for my fellow people in their 20s. Finish college and there's this expectation, or maybe it's just this pressure you put on yourself like I do, that you have to have everything figured out. Suddenly I need to have a 401k, I need to know everything about retirement, I need to know how to do my taxes, I need to be moved out, I need to have found the love of my life, I need to have been married. In doing so, and in doing that, when do you get to enjoy your life? But life will happen for me in its own time. Does not mean that I'm not doing anything, which I think can be a misconception of like, oh, life's gonna happen for me, but not if I'm not seizing opportunities, not if I'm not going for new experiences, not if I'm not going out for jobs or interviews. You still have to actively be involved in the process of life and living. The job that I want will come, the partner that I'm meant to be with will come. You're supposed to be living your life, you're supposed to be going out, you're supposed to be traveling. I am truly over the halfway, or about to be over the halfway hump of my 20s, and I can honestly say I haven't done a lot of living. Yes, COVID played a part in that, but I think too, like even now I'm like focused on trying to get my job together, I'm focused on trying to move out, and I realize I'm not having a lot of experiences. And as a Sagittarius, we need those experiences. 20s are truly something so transitional. It's a roller coaster and a half, but it's also the time where you learn the most about yourself. And I think just pausing to realize how great of a phase I'm in right now. I've learned a lot of relationship stuff this year for somebody that's not dating. You cannot make someone love you by giving them more of what they don't appreciate. This can go for friendships and stuff too, but I mainly thought about it in the context of dating. I felt somebody pulling away from me just a little bit. If their tone was off, if they texted differently, if the air was off a little bit, I need to do more, I need to be more. And I don't even know what that meant to me, but I just was doing it constantly. Okay, maybe I need to be more available. Maybe I need to be sending more stuff. Maybe I need to be doing things that I never did. In doing that, I was straying farther and farther from myself. At the end of the day, those people aren't in my life. They didn't appreciate it. They didn't see me. If they didn't appreciate who I was and what I was giving in the first place, me doing more was not going to change that. This is for me personally, like, don't order a venti sized drink because you're never going to finish it. I always go into things, especially when I'm really hungry and I'm like, oh, I'm going to finish all this, I'm going to do, no. It's probably very niche, but it's like, girl, you know you're not going to finish the venti, just get grande. I'll finish my mascara. And the last lesson that I've learned is actually a quote or a mini poem. One of my favorite pages on Instagram is Rainbow Salt, but it's this woman, her name's Bianca, and she writes a lot of really, I don't know, just things that resonate with me. We need to do lips. We'll apply our lip and then we'll end with this. Last lesson that I've learned, please just let love in. Tell people how you feel and do not worry about being too much. Be too much. Care too much. Let people show up for you. Let people remind you that there is goodness in this world. Be vulnerable. Do not be afraid of what you feel. Try to find the beauty in each breakdown. Try to move forward and let go. Try to learn and believe in new beginnings despite what you've been through. Kiss the faces of your friends, hug their broken pieces back together, laugh loudly and hope loudly and live loudly, and be gentle with yourself. Be gentle with your healing. Connect, connect, connect with every ounce of who you are, with every inch of your patchwork heart. Connect with people who make you feel deeply. Connect with the moments that bring tears to your eyes. Connect with the things that make your hands shake. Embrace the things that make you aware of just how lucky you are to be alive. Please just connect, because beautiful things are vanishing each and every day. Do not let your heart become one of them. As such a lover girl, I resonate with that so much, and I think sometimes especially when the world can seem very dark. Be the light in it. I think that's also just a reminder to myself to be authentic and connect and be who I am. And yeah, not everyone will understand it, but then again, they're not supposed to. The girls that get it. Wow, okay. Was that harmony kind of good, or was I just... maybe I was just, I don't know, just a little something off the cuff. Those are the 25 things that I've learned. With each year that I get older and I experience new things, I just have an appreciation for everything that I went to prior, and this year is no different. I loved this last year. It was transformative in the best way, but I am ready to move forward. Here's to that. My mom told me that I need to go on more than 2 dates next year, so we'll see how that goes. I feel optimistic about this next year. Concludes it for this week's video. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me, for chatting. Don't forget to subscribe if you're new. I don't want you to miss out, especially with vlogmas. This is gonna be my first one. This is also my favorite holiday time that we're in. So I just think everything is, the vibes are already, they're there. If one video a week is not enough and you are wondering to yourself, what does this girl do the other 6 days? You could check out my TikTok for that. I don't really post on Instagram every day. When we do, we show up. Oh, I'll also link all the makeup products and stuff that I use. But I think that's everything. Thank you guys so much. I hope you have the best morning, evening, afternoon, night, whenever you're watching this. And most importantly, I hope that you are well. I will see you when I see you. Bye, guys.